guys, what is Topical? Nate here, and today we're going to be going through my entire Blu-ray slash 4K collection. But before we do that, make sure you scroll down the description box below, pop it open. You'll find links to our social media accounts. Give us a follow on those. We also have links to our coffee account and our Patreon account if you would like to help us out in a more financial manner. So maybe I can finally one day own more Blu-rays than Strange Wang, which will probably never happen. But let's get into it. First up, these are really funny to me. Because back in the day, I know these still exist. Maybe you still use them. I don't use them anymore. But I used to rent movies from Redbox a lot. And I am incredibly forgetful. So I actually have 2 Redbox DVDs, or Blu-rays, that I just never returned. So they're mine now. And it's The Intern, which is like a solid little movie. I really enjoy that. Robert De Niro, Anne Hathaway, I really like it. And Interstellar, which, like, I could have a way better copy of Interstellar than this Redbox that I never returned, but I kind of like the story behind having a Redbox case, so I'm not getting rid of it. On to the Amrays. We have Enemy of State, Will Smith. V for Vendetta. Love this movie a lot. One of my favorite comic book adaptations. Die Hard 2, Die Harder. We have The Hurt Locker. I think that movie's a little overrated, personally. We have a Best Picture winning Argo. Really like that one a lot. I had never seen it. Didn't even know it won Best Picture when I watched it. I kind of understand why. It was really good. Next up, one of my favorite directors. We have Wes Anderson's Isle of Dogs. Very good. Not as good as Fantastic Mr. Fox, but still another good follow-up claymation from him. Next up, one of my favorite movies. We have Spaceballs. Cracks me up every time. Mel Brooks is so good at just chalking his movies full of, like, incredibly good jokes. Great blend of, like, gag humor, good actual jokes, and all that stuff. We have Sideways. Actually never seen this. A friend of mine just gave me a garbage bag full of DVDs and Blu-rays, and I just kept this one out of it. I'll probably watch it one day. We got Looper. I watched this movie, and I was like, dang, because I didn't read anything about it, and I was like, Joseph Gordon-Levitt's nose looks really different in this movie, and it's because he had a prosthetic to make him look more like Bruce Willis. I think that's neat. We have The Hateful Eight. Love Quentin Tarantino. Love this movie a lot. Could definitely own a better version of it than the Amray, but it's what I got, and I watch it. We have American Hustle. Strange Wang does not know what this movie has on Rotten Tomatoes because we just did a guessing game earlier with this in it. It's okay. It's all right. I don't like it as much as I wanted to, but good cast, good director. We got Fargo, Coen Brothers movie. I think it's my second favorite Coen Brothers movie. Good dark comedy, if that's your thing. We have Young Frankenstein. The Mel Brooks keeps going. And look at that artwork. Isn't that beautiful? That is great art. I love that. Love it a lot.
You're supposed to peel that off.
No, I like it. I'm not going to peel it off. I understand that it peels off, but I like it. And I'm going to leave it on there. Next up, we have John Wick Chapter 2. I have 1 and 3 on Steelbook. Don't have 2 on Steelbook. I wish I did. I'll probably buy it one day. But we got the 4K. This movie's really good. That whole franchise is absolutely phenomenal. Another one of my favorite movies of all time, Good Will Hunting. Excellent performances. Great quotable dialogue. If you haven't seen that, make sure you check it out. Next up, another one of my favorite movies of all time, Casablanca. I think you can make an argument for this being the greatest film of all time. I don't know that I would win that argument, and I'm okay with that, but this movie is incredibly endearing to me. I love it a lot. Next up, we have another movie. Well, not another movie, but a movie surrounded by controversy, and it's Green Book. It won Best Picture. A lot of people think it shouldn't have. I think it's a good movie. I don't really care if it won Best Picture or not. We got another classic, Hitchcock's Rear Window. This is a masterclass in filmmaking. It is incredibly good. If you're the kind of person that avoids old movies because they're old, then this would be a good one to start because I guarantee you that you will be thrilled. Really good. Next up, we got Platoon. I didn't even know until like 2 days ago that this won Best Picture. I've never seen it, but I own it, and I'm pretty sure it was also another one that was inside that garbage bag full of movies that guy gave me. Dances with Wolves. Still never seen it. I haven't, and I probably should. We did a video on Kevin Costner movies, and I'm pretty sure I lied in that video and said that I had seen it. So, there you go. Next up, another one that people put up there among the greats. It's Shawshank Redemption. Again, a movie that I could probably own on a much better version than just this crappy Amray, but we still got it. It's in there. I'm really bad at organizing, and this is there will be multiple times throughout this video where you see that, because we already had Die Hard 2, Die Harder. We finally found Die Hard. It's in here. There it is. I own it. Next up, one that I'm really, really sad I don't own the steelbook of. This is my favorite Pixar movie. I love this movie a lot. It makes me cry every time, and it's Coco. Love how colorful and vibrant this movie is, and like the story about family and all that. Really gets me every time. A movie that if you ever watch any of our top 10, where we do like our top 10 favorite movies of all time, you will absolutely see this on mine. I actually own this one twice, so you'll get to see the better version, and I might talk about it more then, and it's The Princess Bride. Rolling through Air Force One. I wouldn't call it a guilty pleasure because it's definitely never been considered a bad movie, but like I really like Air Force One a ton. Dredd. I don't think a lot of stuff needs to be said about Dredd. Probably one of the more underrated action movies of our time. Major League. Cracks me up. Love this movie. If you like sports and you like comedy, you need to see Major League. We got Predator. I'm going to pick up a whole stack. Yay! Shutter Island. Not Scorsese's best, not his worst. It's pretty good. This one, really special to me. Big Trouble Little China, one of Strange Wang's favorite movies. He gave it to me when I was sick, and I watched it, and it was quite an enjoyable experience. It made me feel a lot better, actually.
A very fun fact about that movie. I bought it because of the slipcase. Gave him the Blu-ray, but I kept the slipcase because I didn't have the slipcase. But then it came out on Steelbook, so I probably should just give him the slipcase, but I probably won't.
Nice. Gangs of New York, I really like it. A lot of people have it on the bottom side of Scorsese's films, but I like Gangs of New York a lot. Rounders, these are all stuck together. Pitch Perfect, I like it. What can I say? I don't know why there's sticky stuff on these.
Are those the ones you Netflix and chill to?
Well, I feel like Christopher Robin would be a really weird movie to Netflix and chill to. So I'm going to go with no on that. And we got Office Space. Mike Judge. He made King of the Hill. He makes good comedy. Natural Born Killers. I still haven't seen this yet either. Strange Wayne keeps telling me I should see it because he told me I like it. But I haven't seen it yet. So we'll get to it eventually. One of my favorite coming-of-age movies. We got Big with Tom Hanks. It's one of the earliest movies I can remember watching at home. My mom always made me fast forward through the scene where she takes her shirt off and she almost has sex with someone who's technically a minor.
Makes sense.
Robin Hood Men in Tights. Mel Brooks, again, he just keeps popping up. He's one of my favorite directors. I love pretty much everything that man makes. He has a few flops. Looking at You, Dracula, Love Bites. I really like Robin Hood Men in Tights. Mostly because I watched it for the first time with my dad when I was probably 8 or 9. So this kind of comedy to an 8 or 9-year-old is going to slap every time. Pacific Rim, it's enjoyable. Paper Towns, I really like the book. This movie's ass. Sicario, I own this one twice as well, so I'll talk about it more when I get to the good copy of it. Spike Lee's Black Klansman, really, really love this movie. Had a lot of fun with it. Very good. Army of Darkness, never seen it. I own it. Happy Death Day. It's not Groundhog Day, but it's still a pretty halfway decent movie. It really was never a phase for me, so, us old emo kids, you gotta have Nightmare Before Christmas. Rio Bravo, John Wayne. Never seen it either, but I own it. What?
So that's very random. It's not a classic, but you're just I'm gonna buy this.
Yeah. Next up, one of my this is in my top 5 favorite Disney movies. We got Hercules. I really love the music from this one a lot. The songs in Hercules are some of my favorite out of any Disney movie. Next up, I bought this one because I really wanted to watch it because I know I'm going to like it, and I honestly just keep forgetting that I own it, but it's Kubo and the Two Strings. I'm a big fan of animation. I've heard so many good things about this, and I just haven't gotten to it yet, but now that I'm holding it in my hand, I will try to make a point to get to that soon. Next up, this movie does not have a very good Rotten Tomatoes score, so I guess it counts as a guilty pleasure for me, but it's Nick and Nora's Infinite Playlist. I just love the exploring around New York City that happens in this movie, and I really love stories about young love a lot. And then maybe I don't own it on Blu-ray, and again, my terrible disorganization, but there's the original John Wick. Great franchise. Next up, another Scorsese. We got The Departed. Very good. Probably my second favorite Pixar movie. We got Inside Out. Watch this movie. Learn about your feelings. It's good for you. Next up, Still in the Cellophane. Still in the Cellophane, but it's okay because thanks to our local Regal Cinema, I actually got to watch this on the big screen with my best friend, and we both loved it a lot, and it's Smokey and the Bandit. That was a really great cinema experience, so super glad to own it so I can actually peel this off and watch it whenever I want. Next up, 90s kid, man. We got Space Jam. It's also still in the cellophane, but I mean, it's Space Jam, you know? I wonder if that digital code's still good.
Probably not.
Training Day, Denzel. My personal favorite Hitchcock movie, I like this one a lot. It's Vertigo. James Stewart, phenomenal. He's just so good. And getting to watch him, I've seen him in so many wholesome movies, where he's just this really wholesome good guy. So getting to watch him in a psychological thriller was really fun for me. I'm a big science fiction guy. Love sci-fi a lot. Maybe the most classic, not the most classic, but one of the classics. We got Blade Runner. This one is the final cut. It's the only one that I own, but I have seen at least 3 or 4 of the cuts that I know of. I know I've seen at least 3 of them. Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, David Fincher. He makes really good movies. Super thrilling, super dark, super gritty. This one is definitely a guilty pleasure for me. This movie is not good, and I have no problem admitting that, but it's In Time with Justin Timberlake and Amanda Seyfried. Again, I like science fiction, so the concept of this movie is just really intriguing to me. One of my favorite rom-coms of all time because it's honestly probably one of the most realistic 500 Days of Summer. This movie is actually really special to me because I've probably watched it 4 times in the last 8 years, and every time I watch it, I have a different feeling about who I agree with or who I don't agree with. Sometimes I think they're both wrong, sometimes I think they're both right. So this movie has been a really good measuring stick for me as far as my own personal growth and views of relationships and everything. So I love that a lot. Do you have a question about 500 Days of Summer?
Who the fuck would pay $22 for an Amaray? I know you got it because you traded stuff in.
I didn't pay $22 for it. That was just the sticker that was on it, but it was cheaper than that. It was $10.
That's fucking ridiculous.
Yep. And then next up, obviously, classic American cinema. We got Forrest Gump. Again, a movie that I could own on a much better steelbook, but I don't. I have it on the Amaray, but it is the Sapphire series, and I don't even know what that means. We got The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. Clint Eastwood. He used to make really good movies. Lately, he has not. We got Now You See Me. The girl I was dating at the time wanted to watch this, and I didn't own it. It wasn't on any streaming service, so we went to the used store, and it was only $5, so I own it. And I had fun with it. It was all right. Edward Scissorhands. I'm a big Tim Burton fan. I love Tim Burton a lot. Strange Wang does not like this movie at all. I think it's fine. Michael J. Fox. Teen Wolf. He's a wolf. He's a teen. We got Safety Not Guaranteed. Super quirky, kind of off the beaten path movie. If that's your thing, then would super recommend it. Really, really like this one a lot. We got Neighbors. Not a lot of modern comedies make me laugh. This one does. Spielberg, easily my favorite director of all time, and this movie is super nostalgic to my childhood. I remember watching it all the time when I was younger, and it's Hook with Robin Williams and our boy Dustin Hoffman. I love Hook. Next up, this movie's getting a remake this year, and I'm really nervous about it because I really love the original, but it's West Side Story. I love musicals. I really do. I love musicals a lot. This is easily, like, probably in my top 3 favorite musicals. Another Clint Eastwood movie, Trouble with the Curve. I like this one a lot more than critics do. I like sports dramas a lot. Also still in the cellophane, in a movie that I haven't seen, is Arrival, but I hear that I will like it because I love science fiction, and it's also just a really good movie. Another science fiction movie that is still in the cellophane that I've never seen is Oblivion with Tom Cruise and Morgan Freeman. So I'll probably watch that at some point too. I felt like I had one more Amray somewhere. I guess not. That's it for the Amrays. Let's talk about DVDs that I actually still own.
Ew.
So all of the DVDs that I own, well, not all of them, most of them came in that garbage bag full of movies that I mentioned before. One of them is Kingdom of Heaven. Never seen it, but I got it. I'll probably watch it at some point. Like I said, I really love musicals. A lot of the DVDs that I own belonged to my aunt, who was really important to me, that passed away. So I got a lot of like her old stuff that we used to watch. So we have The Music Man, the original. The remake with Matthew Broderick's okay. Broderick is okay, but you can't beat the original. We got Guys and Dolls. We have A Broadway Melody of 1940. Classic dance movies are kind of like my jam. I grew up on them. I love them a lot. We'll get more on them in a second. We have this is probably my favorite like romance movie of all time. It's About Time. Incredibly endearing. Makes me have all the feels. Makes me cry every time I watch it. Love this movie so much and really want a better version of it than the DVD. We have Happy Death Day to You, and the only reason that I own this on DVD is because that ex-girlfriend that I mentioned before, we watched the first one and we were like, that was pretty good. We want to see the sequel, but we couldn't find it anywhere, and the only place that we found it, I think, was at Target, and they only had it on DVD, so I have the DVD. Another movie that I just couldn't find on Blu-ray is Won't You Be My Neighbor, the documentary about Mr. Rogers. If you are even remotely interested in being a better person, then you should watch this because this dude was incredible. Love everything about him. I've watched this probably 8 times now. Saw it twice in theaters. It's very good. And then finally, I have Volume 1 of the Fred Astaire and Ginger Rogers collection. They made 10 movies together, so this has 5, and it has my 5 favorites in it, which is Shall We Dance, Follow the Fleet, The Barclays of Broadway, Swing Time, and Top Hat. Shall We Dance and Top Hat are my favorite. Top Hat is objectively or subjectively, I don't know which, I can't remember the difference, honestly. Critically, Top Hat is their best movie. People really, really overlook these old dance movies because, yes, they are full of like these big, like well choreographed and put together dance numbers, but they also have a really good stories to them, and the dialogue in these movies is absolutely incredible, and like they're so sarcastic. You would love it. So you should at least give Top Hat a chance. Go look up Top Hat. It's very good. All right. Next up, my Blu-rays that don't really fall the special category, I guess. So we have the Breakfast Club in the VHS style box, but it's a Blu-ray. It is, but it's in a VHS box.
Surprise, motherfucker!
That's pretty neat. And then we have Batman Under the Red Hood. It came with the comic, which is really neat, but it is also the Blu-ray. So that's pretty neat. I haven't watched the movie in a hot minute. I did read the comic when I bought it, and it was like super enjoyable. So. All right, next up we have my slipcases. So we have the Gregory Peck Centennial Collection. So it has easily his 2 best movies, which is To Kill a Mockingbird and Cape Fear. Really love classic film. Gregory Peck is one of my favorites. Big fan of both those movies. We have Annihilation. Again, I love science fiction. This is one of the best science fiction movies to come out in like the last 10 years, in my opinion. Really, really enjoyed it. We have the movie that absolutely destroyed the Oscars. We have Parasite. I'm honestly not as big on it as a lot of people were, but it's still a very good movie. Really enjoyed it. Another Oscar darling, 1917. Really good war film. Way different than any war film you've seen. If you haven't seen it, definitely should check that out. We have Queen and Slim. Really like this movie a lot too. I wish that it had gotten a little bit more attention. I kind of understand why it didn't, but I really love like the artistic direction that they went with that movie. 3 Billboards Outside Ebbing, Missouri. Very good. Hey, I own it twice. Forrest Gump. Got a slipcase. That one's way prettier than the Amray. I should probably just sell it. Another movie that you would probably see on my top 10 favorite movies of all time. We got the pop vinyls right there, and it's La La Land. Like I said before, I love musicals. I love romantic comedies, especially ones that have like really realistic takes on relationships. So this is like musical 500 Days of Summer, and very good. We got A Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood, the movie starring Tom Hanks that came out after the Mr. Rogers documentary came out. Not as good as the documentary, but still very good and will still make you cry. Place Beyond the Pines doesn't get talked about a whole lot. I really like this movie a lot. Definitely has like a big tone switch, like maybe a third of the way into the movie. So if you like a good tasteful twist, check that out. We have Waves. This movie is really fucking hard to watch. So if you want to cry and you want to feel really hard feelings, then watch Waves. I will probably never watch it again because it hit me pretty hard. But I really appreciate the experience that I did have watching it. So I might watch it again at some point. This is like a once every 5 to 10 years movie for sure. We got Minari. Obviously, it got a lot of love recently. I still haven't seen it. And I really want to because I have faith in all the good things that everyone has said about it. And not a movie. I forgot that I had it. But we have Avatar, The Last Airbender, the complete series on the slipcase. That's a really good show. Next up, we have a movie that I own that I haven't seen, but I know I'm not going to like it, so I'm avoiding it, and it's Rocky. If you're familiar with me and Strange Wang at all, then you know how I feel about that movie. Next up, a movie that I feel is super underrated. I don't really like horror movies. I guess this counts as horror. It's really just more like gore thriller, I guess, with a little bit of supernatural elements, but the supernatural really doesn't come until the end, and it's Ready or Not. I had so much fun with this movie. Really, really enjoyed it. Next up, we have Heat. This is my favorite crime thriller. It's really good. You have De Niro and Pacino. I mean, it's kind of hard to go wrong there. I didn't even know I owned this twice, but I have Argo on slipcase too. I got The Post. I had a bunch of store credit at our local used store, so I got The Post, amongst a lot of other things. If Beale Street Could Talk, really, really love this movie as well. Like Barry Jenkins, he makes good movies, and this is another one. Another one of my favorite movies. I'm not sure if it's going to crack my top 10 or not. I did not expect to love this movie as much as I loved it. It was my personal pick for Best Picture that year, but it is Greta Gerwig's take on Little Women. This movie, it just hit me in all the right places, man. Like, it gave me the good feels. The Farewell, another really good movie. I love how small of a movie it is. I love movies that are just kind of about like one family and things that they're going through. And I also love movies that teach me a lot about other cultures. And this one did both of those. Simple Favor. I've never seen this. And I've never seen it, and I own it. I can't explain it any more than that. I bought it because someone else wanted to watch it, and that was it.
You need to watch it. It's really good.
Yeah? So, like, funny story about Simple Favor. Like, the girl that I was dating said she really, really loved it and wanted to watch it again, so I bought it, and then we just never ended up watching it. But then we broke up, and then I started talking to this other girl that we, like, sort of dated for, like, 4 months, and I mentioned that movie to her, and she said that she fucking hated it. So, I guess you just can't take You just got to form your own opinion about things, I guess. Speaking of movies that definitely requires forming your own opinion, we got Jojo Rabbit. I love this movie. I totally understand why it is not for everyone, but these like just super quirky movies mean a lot to me, and it's also just has a really great coming of age story inside of it. E.T., Extraterrestrial, Spielberg classic, and Speed. It's a drug you should not take, but it is a pretty good movie with Keanu Reeves and Sandra Bullock. All right, we got The Terminator. Really like the artwork on that one. Pretty cool. Probably what's regarded as like the best horror movie in recent history. We got Get Out. I agree. Love that movie a lot. This one, super endearing to me. Definitely on my top 10 list. I mentioned I love Tim Burton a lot before. But any movie that has to do with like emotional stuff between like father and son, I'm kind of all here for. I also really like movies that feel like storybooks and have that whimsical aspect to them, and it's Big Fish. Really, really love that one a lot. We got some Disney classics. We got Beauty and the Beast. We got The Lion King. Another movie that won Best Picture, which I agreed with. I really like this one a lot, is The Shape of Water. Got some nice like reflective stuff going on that one. Guillermo del Toro made a really good one with that. This one is definitely, I don't think it's a guilty pleasure, but I'm the only person that I know that likes it. It's The Peanut Butter Falcon. I love this movie. And I also really love like the kind of career renaissance that Shia LaBeouf had lately, even if that's been ruined by the fact that it came out that he's an abusive boyfriend somewhat recently. But this movie definitely hit me where I wanted it to hit me. Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid, again, one I haven't seen. I've been told by Strange Way multiple times that I should because he thinks that I really like it, and he knows what kind of movies I like. Another coming-of-age story, really good, Edge of 17. We got Baby Driver, one of the most fun movies that I think that I own. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, not Tarantino's best, but I still really liked it a lot, and the movie is about two best friends, and me and Strange Way get to see it together, so, like, that kind of adds like a little bit of importance to that one for me. A movie that we don't agree on is Logan, because I think that this is easily in the top 5 best superhero movies of all time, and he disagrees, and that's fine. Another great small coming-of-age movie, 8th Grade. I related to this one a lot because I was also super dorky and didn't have a lot of friends when I was in 8th grade, so there's that. And then our final slipcase. This one is like pretty cool. It's Gone Girl. Great movie, but like the way that it's packaged on the inside is like these two tiny little books, and then so like one's like the actual movie, and then the other one has the special features, but the other one is actually like the book that she's in, like Amazing Amy, and so it's a pretty cool slipcase. Son of a bitch. All right, so on to my steelbooks. Starting off, I have a good many of the Studio Ghiblis that have been getting released over the last year or two. Princess Mononoke. I think this is the most underrated Studio Ghibli movie. I feel like Spirited Away kind of gets all the credit, but this is really, really good. Howl's Moving Castle. This is my personal favorite Studio Ghibli movie. Really like that one a lot. Totoro, obviously. I still haven't seen this one, and it's Nausicaa of the Valley of the Wind. I have heard mixed reviews about it, so I'll get to that one eventually. Ponyo, his take on The Little Mermaid. It's okay. I like Ponyo all right. Kiki's Delivery Service. Cartoon Network used to do like Saturday night, like every night they had a Saturday, or every Saturday they did Saturday Night Movie on Cartoon Network, and Kiki's Delivery Service was on there one time. I think it was the first time I'd ever seen like a full-length anime film, and I fell in love with it then. And then we have Castle in the Sky as well. Next up, another Disney classic. We have Aladdin, second best Disney movie, in my opinion. Mad Max Fury Road. This one is an incredible movie. I think as time goes by, it's going to end up being regarded as like one of the best films of a decade. This one's going to get studied a lot. The visuals in it are absolutely incredible. A movie that I have a really weird relationship with is Scarface, because I really like what the movie is trying to say in that, like, here's a really interesting character study about a guy who felt like he had to do this, but is also a shitty person. But society likes to say otherwise. There's still a digital copy in there. And then it also comes with this pretty neat little booklet that's in here. But it's also still in the cellophane. So, that's pretty neat.
1932 was in there as well.
Oh, see, I didn't even know that. This specific steelbook that I have also has the 1932 Scarface in it, which I haven't seen. And apparently I own that as well, so I'll watch it too. Uh, 300. This is probably like my favorite Zack Snyder film. I was the right age when it came out for it to like just be super fun for me to be like a young dude watching ripped dudes kill each other. An absolute classic, The Godfather. This is part 1. Part 2 is in here somewhere because I'm not organized. I like part 1 a little more personally because you kind of get to see like the beginning. You get to see when Michael wasn't a gangster and like his kind of shift into that, what pushes him there. Ghostbusters, freaking love that movie, 80s classic. John Wick Chapter 3 on Steelbook. I guess it's the only one that I own on Steelbook. It looks pretty cool. I love Steven Spielberg. A lot of people didn't like this movie. I really enjoyed it. Ready Player One. Had a lot of fun with it. We got The Invisible Man. Really, really cool steelbook. Really like that one a lot. I was not as big on the movie as a lot of other people were, but that is a great steelbook. Next up, objectively, this is not a good movie, and I totally understand that. But I was a super huge fan of the TV show Firefly that got canceled, and literally fan-funded film that Joss Whedon made because the fans raised the money to do it in Serenity. So the CGI is terrible. A lot of it's not great. It had a really low budget to work with, but really appreciated getting some sort of wrap-up to a TV show that I loved a lot. We have the new It. I haven't watched it yet, but I've heard that it's good, like very good in terms of horror movies. So we'll get to that eventually. Keeping the horror vibes going, we also have Us, which is also a very cool steelbook. Huge Pokemon fan going up. Got Detective Pikachu. Honestly, it's okay. Like, it's fine. Probably the best comic book movie. Or not comic book movie. Probably the best, like, video game movie that currently exists. Hopefully that changes one day. Independence Day. Freaking love this movie a lot. It also just has a lot of nostalgia to me. But, like, 90s Will Smith and Jeff Goldblum. Yeah, all about that. Django Unchained. I understand a lot of people don't care for a lot of the language in this movie, and I totally understand that and won't argue with that at all. The story is still incredible. The characters in this movie are phenomenal. I will never not watch Django. Like, I just won't. I love that movie. The Martian, great. Another, like, probably one of the better, like, science fiction movies of late. Love The Martian a lot. And we have Top Gun. I like Top Gun. I think it's fun. I don't know that it deserves all the hype that it gets, but I just like movies with cocky asshole characters in them. Next up, we have this weird Jurassic World steelbook. To be honest with you, I hate it. I don't like this at all. I would have rather just had a regular steelbook, and it like flops around in there, and it drives me nuts. But I have it. Next up, we got 21 and 22 Jump Street combined into one steelbook. Again, not a lot of modern comedies really make me laugh that much anymore, but these movies get me, and I appreciate them for that. Next up, we got Beetlejuice. Shout out to Tiffany. You probably won't watch this video, but I might send a clip of it to you. Because this movie is really good, and it's your favorite movie, and you're also sick right now, and I hate that, so I hope you feel better. We got The Goonies. I've never seen The Goonies, you guys. I haven't. so many 80s kids hype this movie up for me that I almost don't want to like it, but I have a feeling if I watch it, I probably will like it. But we need to get to it because Goonies never say die. Next up, we have Indiana Jones: The Complete Adventures, a gift from my friend Strange Wang because he knows how much I love Indiana Jones. Harrison Ford was absolutely my idol growing up. He's Han Solo. He's Indiana Jones. I love all these movies so much. Next up, we have what I think this is probably my personal favorite comic book movie, and it's Into the Spider-Verse. Super fucking dope steelbook. Love that one a lot, and I just really love the story that they told with Spider-Man and that. Also, a lot of people avoided this just because it's animated, and I have said this 100 times, but I'm going to say it again. Don't avoid this movie just because it's animated, because, people die. People die in this movie. We got A Star Is Born, the new one with Bradley Cooper and Lady Gaga in it. Really like that one a lot. We have Friday the 13th, The Killer Cut. That's a movie. We got Pulp Fiction. Again, really love Tarantino. This steelbook is super metallic, and I never realized that. But I've seen this movie 100 times. It's the first movie that me and Strange Wang, I think, ever really super bonded over. So it's really important to me, personally, outside of just being a really, really good movie. Another movie that you would definitely see on my top 10 favorite movies of all time is Jurassic Park. Cannot understate what this movie meant to me as a kid. I love it so much, and I can't wait to show it to my own kids one day. Next up, we got Mary Poppins. It's Mary Poppins, y'all. I like musicals. This one's absolute classic. Next up, I am 100% on the gang of this movie absolutely needs a sequel. It also has a really, really cool steelbook, and it's Alita Battle Angel. I love science fiction. I love fantasy. I really love the character and the world that they built in this movie, and I really, really hope that somehow they find a way to make a sequel to it because that story has a lot to tell still. All right, next up, another Disney classic. We went through it once. I own the slipcase. I also have the steelbook. It's Aladdin. We got Hitchcock's Psycho. That's also a pretty cool steelbook and a really, really great movie. I never saw it until last year, I think. It was before I moved, but for whatever reason, Strange Wing really felt like I should watch it, so we watched it, and it was good. We have A Quiet Place. Still haven't seen part 2, but really, really enjoyed the first one. We got Zombieland. I really like Zombieland. It makes me laugh, and that's also some pretty cool artwork on that steelbook as well. We have Casino. Still never seen it, but I really like Scorsese's crime movies. But I haven't seen Casino yet, but we'll get there. This one, another movie, I feel like film heads talk about it a lot. Doesn't get a lot of love outside of that, but it's Whiplash. I love Damien Chazelle. I already talked about how La La Land is easily in my top 10 favorite movies of all time. Whiplash is up there too.
It's about to fall.
Oh, I got it. That's fine. Whiplash is up there as one of my... It's probably top 50 for me, favorite movies. Just a guess. Pretty in Pink. Haven't watched it, but they released a bunch of those classic 80s movies on steelbook, so we got that one. Ferris Bueller's Day Off. I really love debating this movie. I like this movie a lot. It's really fun. But Ferris Bueller is absolutely a psychopath, and you can't convince me otherwise. But it is pretty neat how it wraps around with the car. Rocky Horror Picture Show. Again, I like musicals, and I really like weird shit. And this is... You're not going to find a musical weirder than this. Unless you go way off the beaten path. I'm sure they exist.
Annette.
Huh?
Annette.
Annette? Yeah. Is that a musical?
Yeah, the one with fucking Kylo Ren.
Adam Driver? Good
Yeah.
soup.
That's actually not from that.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Hunt for Red October. I really like Sean Connery a lot. The first time I ever saw Sean Connery was as Indiana Jones's dad. So he's automatically cool to me. And then I like have seen James Bond and everything since then. So Hunt for Red October, it's okay. It's all right. And then we have The Fifth Element, another one with some really cool artwork on it. I love science fiction. This one it's just way different than pretty much any other science fiction movie I've ever seen. I really enjoy The Fifth Element a lot. Again, I'm really disorganized because there's Mary Poppins Returns. Not as good as the original. I thought it was an okay follow-up. And then we have The Matrix, which also has some really cool art on that steelbook and is getting another movie soon. And I'm pretty sure this one was a Christmas present from Strange Wang as well. But I was in middle school when The Matrix came out.
You're old!
And it freaking blew my mind. I love that movie. To round out the steelbooks, I have my steelbooks that are in slipcases separated. So we have Sicario, again, one that I own twice, but this was a really cool steelbook. And I really like steelbooks that have slipcases. So you really just get to appreciate the artwork so much more that way. So we got that. We got Kick-Ass. It's really a fun comic book movie. Really fun one. I don't think there's anything super special about the slipcase on that one, but pretty neat. We have the OG Halloween. Absolutely beautiful steelbook. Love that one a lot. And it's just nice to be able to get to enjoy that clean artwork by taking the slipcase off of steelbooks. And also, like, the slipcases on these, way more durable. But my favorite slipcase steelbook that I own, and also one of my favorite movies of late, is Knives Out. But this slipcase is extra cool. It's really cool that the whole steelbook like looks like a book. And I'm not going to do it in case you haven't seen the movie. But on the back, there's a bunch of knives pointing to a circle. But if you flip the slipcase around and put it on the front where all the characters are, it actually gives away a huge spoiler. So really neat that they like threw that in there as like a little Easter egg just for the slipcase in the steelbook. Next up, I just have all my franchises separated, so I'm not really sure why the complete Indiana Jones collection got mixed in with all the other Blu-rays, but I have the slipcase Blu-rays for all the Harry Potter movies, so it's like 1 and 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then 7. Plan on upgrading to the Steelbook collection for all of these at some point, but love Harry Potter a lot. Big fan of that franchise. This one's going to have to get upgraded, I guess, eventually soon because we have the 8-movie collection for the Fast and Furious franchise. So I don't have Hobbs and Shaw, and then obviously Fast 9 is a thing now. So that'll have to get upgraded, but we got it. Next up, we have the greatest franchise of all time, obviously, and it's Star Wars. So we got, for the first 6, I don't know if this series ever actually got a name, but it's just the one that has like faces on all of them. So New Hope, Empire. We're going through. I'm just going to pop them up there. We all know what these movies are. And this is where I get really inconsistent because I don't have all these movies on Steelbook because I didn't care about them at the time, but now I do. So I'm definitely going to have to go back and get some of these. We got the slipcase for The Force Awakens. I don't care what you say. The Last Jedi is phenomenal. It's a really great Star Wars movie. It's not perfect. It's not perfect, but it's really fucking good. So we definitely had to get the Steelbook for that one. On The Rise of Skywalker, we had this really, really thick slipcase. It was a Target exclusive. Got a bunch of bonus content. I think it's 4 discs. But it's still in the cellophane because that movie pissed me off a little bit. But that's okay. I'll go through all of that at some point. And then the Star Wars stories, we got Rogue One. Really sad I don't have this one on Steelbook because the Steelbook for Rogue One is very, very cool. And then we have Solo on Steelbook.
But wait! There's more!
Next up, we have the, what do you call it? This is a digibook? Is that what you call that? Is that what that is? Yeah. We got the digibook for Back to the Future. Really cool. Got a bunch of bonus stuff in there on that one. The entire franchise, 1 through 3. We have the Dark Knight trilogy. Kind of like a side slipcase on that one. like that, and it's got some bonus stuff in there as well. And then we have the 6-movie Mission Impossible collection, which obviously that's going to have to get updated as well. And that's it for the franchise stuff. But now to my favorite part of my collection is my Criterions. I'm assuming that you know what Criterion is. If you don't, that's okay. But starting out with some classics, we have His Girl Friday. The dialogue in this movie is absolutely incredible. It is so much fun. If you're the kind of person who avoids classic movies just because you don't like black and white or you think they're boring, you really should check some of these out. I think His Girl Friday would be a really great start. Honestly, could say the same things about that one, about this one, the Philadelphia Story. You get a great love triangle in this one and just some incredible dialogue as well. Next up, we have, honestly, probably some of my favorite movies that I own. I love Wes Anderson so much. I had Isle of Dogs on the Amray, but all of his other movies I have are on Criterion. So we got The Royal Tenenbaums. A lot of people argue this is his best movie. I think it's another one coming up, but I really do love The Royal Tenenbaums a lot. We got Rushmore. I had a lot of fun with Rushmore. It was pretty good. Not his best, in my opinion, but like any movie that this guy makes, I'm pretty sure that I'm going to like. We have the Darjeeling Limited. I really like this one a lot. It definitely falls lower on his list for a lot of people than it does for me, but I really like that a lot. And my favorite Wes Anderson movie, without a doubt, that I still have a piece of paper hanging onto, is The Grand Budapest Hotel. Really, really love the artwork that they put on that one. Really, really love this. You get so much in this. You get a crime thriller, you get a coming-of-age story, and you get just really, really good relationships between his super quirky characters in The Grand Budapest. And then we also have Moonrise Kingdom, which also has some really cool art on it. But that rounds out my Wes Anderson Criterions. Next up on Criterion, we have Do the Right Thing. Probably Spike Lee's most famous movie, I guess, and rightfully so. Really, really love this one a lot. It's such a slow burn, build up to the ultimate climax of the film. I love the colors on it, and the bonus stuff in this one is really cool as well. And then easily the most unique Criterion I own is The Princess Bride, because it's literally a storybook that has the Blu-ray in there, but it's really well bound. It's got that old school cloth texture to it. This is, like I said before, in my top 10 favorite movies of all time, so had to get the Criterion on that one. And that's it. That's all the movies I own. So thank you so much for watching. Let me know what you think about the collection down in the comment section below. Don't forget to scroll back up, share the video, and subscribe.
It's not a game, it's a rich thing.